We're soon going to see what's being described as a once-in-a-generation investment in our nation's infrastructure. Joining us now is the author of the Bipartisan Infrastructure Deal, Virginia Senator Mark Warner. Senator, thank you so much for being here and welcome to Capitol Review. So you were an integral part of getting this passed across the finish line. Actually, White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain even said this week that we would not have gotten this done without Mark Warner. His leadership on this bill was incredible. So I have to ask, are you happy with the $1.2 trillion as a final price tag?
Well, I am very happy. The getting from the idea to getting it done, the so-called sausage making, parts of it were pretty ugly, and lots of back and forth. But I'm really proud of the fact that it was bipartisan from day one, 5 Democrats, 5 Republicans. And what we accomplished and what President Biden signed into law earlier in the week was the largest investment in infrastructure literally in 50 years. I mean, many people have compared this to what President Eisenhower did with the interstate system.
And specifically, how will Virginia, from metropolitan Arlington to rural Shenandoah Valley, see the direct impacts from this plan?
Great question, and I appreciate you asking that. You know, we'll get 8 years of authorization for Metro here in Northern Virginia. We've got a lot of areas, even in Northern Virginia, Alexandria particularly, and parts around Mount Vernon, where we've got flooding. There'll be additional flood walls. We will double or build a new bridge across the Potomac called the Long Bridge, which will dramatically increase the rail capacity. Part of that will be benefits to VRE customers that go to Manassas or go to Fredericksburg, but it will also include passenger rail that will increase the number of trains to Richmond, to Roanoke, to beyond Roanoke down to Blacksburg for anybody that might be a Virginia Tech fan. Down in Hampton Roads, again, flooding and resiliency is a big issue. I've been in politics for 20 years in Virginia. I've been saying we got to finish finally I-64 between Richmond and Hampton. That will get done. In far southwest Virginia, we've got a lot of communities that live in Appalachia that still don't have access to clean drinking water. There was a series of water programs. And then 2 things that I think will benefit the whole state. I know we want to try to move towards more electric vehicles, but people are worried about, you know, if I'm going a long distance, will there be a charging station? We put a couple $2 billion now. It'll have to be leveraged with private sector dollars so that there'll be a series of charging stations, which will be in effect the modern equivalent of a new gas station that will pop up around the Commonwealth and around the country. And then finally, for example, we're going to build or buy 25,000 new school buses over the next 5 years in this country. And we have the chance now to have those school buses made in America. And I've got a couple companies in Southern Virginia that I'm trying to help see if they might be the places to make those electric school buses. So I think this is a win-win-win. And then I should, of course, mention the final issue, particularly after COVID. And this is benefits not just to rural Virginia, but there are too many places even in Northern Virginia where, you know, you have to go to a school parking lot to get good broadband connectivity, or even if it's available, it's too expensive. This will make a record $65 billion, which will translate to about $800 billion for Virginia on broadband expansion and affordability. So I think this will be a big win no matter where you live in the Commonwealth. And one of my friends, Republican senators, said, you know what? There's not a Republican or Democrat pothole or broken bridge. They are things we all use as Virginians and Americans, and I think this will be a great investment moving forward.
And you know, all of this sounds wonderful, and now that it's law, of course, there are even more questions. So what's the time frame of when the money will come, and who's actually going to make the decisions on where and which projects exactly that'll go to? Are those decisions usually made at the federal level, the state level under a new governor now, or at the local level? And if it is at the local level, should residents then send in their feedback on the places that they'd like to see changes?
Well, it really will vary by the program. For the most part, the roads and bridges, those will be made at the state level. That'll be made by our Commonwealth Transportation Board and the Department of VDOT. At the broadband level, the funding may come from the state, but the actual implementation will be made at the local level. So contact your city council or your board of supervisors. In questions of resiliency, some of those projects will actually, a locality will apply for the flood relief money, and a lot of that may even be decided at the federal level. It'll be a bit of a, depending on the program. And one of the things that I'm focused on now, a lot of the senators, you know, have never run anything. I was a business guy. I was governor of Virginia. Virginia was named best managed state when I was governor. The next really challenge is going to be, how do we make sure this money is well spent, goes to the right projects? President Biden chose somebody I think is a really good guy. His name is Mitch Landrieu. He was the mayor of New Orleans after the debacle around Katrina and then became lieutenant governor. He's come in as a kind of implementation person. I want the Biden administration to bring the best people from business, the best people from government and nonprofits to make sure that we implement these programs well, because this is as big as it's been in 50 years. And if we don't spend the money well, shame on us. So that oversight on how we spend and make sure taxpayer dollars are not wasted is where I'm going to be spending some of my time and focus going forward.
All right, we still got a lot to talk about with the center, including why China is a threat to the United States and the future of the Commonwealth under Governor-elect Glenn Youngkin. We'll be right back.